Welcome to the Monday edition of the SNews here at LonghornStation.com. I'm Ahmad Brooks and John Medani with you. Free agency in the NFL, what a busy weekend, and a lot of it happened, after we got off the air. So there's a lot of stuff here to talk about, and I guess the Chicago Bears are at the top of the list, Bruce.
Most definitely. I think the addition, bringing in Julius Peppers, perhaps the most coveted free agent on the block. And then they brought in Chester Taylor, which was certainly for me, John. I don't know how you felt about it, but it was somewhat surprising that this guy would go within the division to a different team. And I know Brett Favre did it from Green Bay to Minnesota, but I'm just saying, I just felt like he perhaps would have had a little more loyalty, and they've been very loyal to him. I mean, when you have the best back in football and you still find ways to get this guy carries, I thought he was in a great situation. But I do think that Chester Taylor is even more important than Julius Peppers. With Brian Urlacher being back, that defense is going to be much different. And in fact, I think they were trying to make sure that doesn't happen again where you lose your best defensive player and now your defense is struggling throughout the year. But Chester Taylor, I think is going to be big here because Cutler, I don't think he lived up to the billing that they thought he was going to yet. Matt Forte a year ago did the same thing. He was a fantasy football favorite and kind of fell off the face of the earth, John. But I think Chester Taylor, Julius Peppers off top, and they also picked up Mal Mula, whatever his name is, the tight end. All those
Brandon.
Yes, I'm saying.
Brandon Mondu Maleuna.
I let him say that. But I think they got the right pieces, but the Chester Taylor I thought was very interesting.
Well, before we give the Bears too much credit, if you don't have draft picks, then you got to spend free agency money. Give them credit for actually doing what they have to do and finding the right draft picks, the right free agents to go after. But let's see if they can now use them to their fullest advantage. A couple of things that really stood out. About 5 o'clock on Friday, we got word about Anquan Boldin going from the Cardinals to the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens got Anquan Boldin plus a fifth-round pick, and all they gave the Cardinals was a third and a fourth-round pick. And I think every team in football would have screamed if they realized they could have had Anquan Boldin for a third and a fourth. Now, they still would have had to pay him the $7 million a year for 4 years, but I think most teams would have done that. There's a lot of teams that need a receiver right now. I think the Houston Texans would have liked to have that deal to put opposite Andre Johnson. A lot of teams would. I think the Bengals would have been receptive. Seattle would have been receptive. A lot of teams would have loved to have another receiver. Shoot, the Bears would have been receptive. Just very intriguing to see how that works. And all of a sudden, boy, Baltimore just got formidable in a hurry.
Well, they've really upgraded their wide receiver position. They bring in Dante Stallworth, which we thought was going to be one of their bigger moves, and then all of a sudden, as John mentioned, I mean, they just hit the football world on the side of the head, bringing in Anquan Boldin. Joe Flacco seems like he's going to be okay. Ray Rice, I don't see this guy slowing down any. John and I both think he's going to be good for a very long time. And, the question mark will be now, can this offensive line give him time to be able to allow Anquan Boldin to run those longer developing routes, allow him to beat defensive backs in coverage? If they can do that, this is going to be a team and a force to reckon with. And keep in mind, they're in a very tough division. When you look at Pittsburgh, when you look at Cincinnati, who won that division a year ago, potentially 3 playoff teams there, you're going to need an extra wide receiver. But I think they upgraded. And how about those Cardinals losing all the players they had?
I don't know what they're doing. Dansby is in Miami.
Troll, Kurt Warner's gone. That team doesn't even look the same. I mean, they lost all of their superstars with the exception of Larry Fitzgerald. I don't know how they're going to make it.
There's something going on there. There's some serious hemorrhaging of money that's going on there. We'll see what the future holds. And you wonder if they're just trying to... We keep hearing rumors about a team heading to Los Angeles. Maybe it's the Cardinals for all we know.
It's close.
Anyway, ask yourself this. When's the last time that one football team had 2 quarterbacks who were both taken number 1 overall in the NFL draft? It doesn't happen often. It now is the case with the San Francisco 49ers. You remember that they had Sean Hill.
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith. Not Sean Hill. Alex Smith. Sean Hill's the one that does play.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex Smith, coming out of Utah, was the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And they just picked up David
Carr.
David Carr. Sorry about that. David Carr. I'm befuddled because I can't believe. Here's what I'm asking with this question. First of all, now you have 2 quarterbacks who are both terrible. Good for you. You win the trivia prize knowing both those guys. But here's the thing. The Carolina Panthers just let go of a quarterback, Jake Delhomme. Is Jake Delhomme not better than David Carr?
Wow.
Or Alex Smith? He's already got $12 million still coming to him from Carolina. They still owe him the money. he would be an instant upgrade on the West Coast. Why is David Carr a better pick than picking up Jake Delhomme?
I think it's fit. When you look at Mike Singletary, and there's no question, this guy has a spiritual compass that I think he's looking for players to build like that. David Carr has been an upstanding individual. People look to him as a spiritual leader in the locker room, though sometimes his production was lacking there in Houston and even in Carolina, but in New York as well. So he's and I think that had to do with it. I think there was a fit there between Mike Singletary and David Carr.
So okay, sounds like a Mike Singletary move there.
Yeah,
so,
it does.
Anyway,
it does.
Sorry about all the messed up names. For Rod Babers, I'm AJ Hoffman, and this is. You know what it is. It's the Snooze. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. on AM 1300 The Zone.